Hello and welcome back to Base Hit Trading. Today marks the first time all month that we've had two red days back to back, which I'm not very happy about, and it's going to affect how I trade the rest of the week. I think I need to dial things back a little bit. The market's pretty cold right now. It's been a bad few days. I am still green on the week. I need to check and see just how much I am up percentage-wise on the week, but I'm gonna just get right into it. I today lost $5.32, which is 2.72% of the account balance of that morning. So not a terrible loss. That's something I'm okay with. It's pretty small. I was able to confine my loss to a pretty small amount. Also, this video will be a bit rushed, so I apologize for that. But today I took 3 trades. 2 of them were losers. 1 of them was a winner. It was a pretty small winner, but winner nonetheless. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. So this is the first trade I took, and it was on ADTX. And looking back, I don't really think this was a terrible trade necessarily. The main thing here is those massive wicks on the candle just before the one we're looking at right now. Huge topping tail, huge lower tail. This was a moment of indecision, and I should have waited a little bit to see how it played out before I bought in. So I forget the exact name for that specific type of candle, but it's basically a big doji candle, meaning indecision. The price went way up, and then it went way down, but ultimately it came back to that middle spot. So if I could do it back, I would have waited a little bit, and you know, I didn't. I ended up losing, I think it was about 80 cents on this one, but let's go ahead and watch how it played out. So right here, thankfully, I decided it's not going my way and I punched out. And just look at what happened right after I sold. That is bad. That's really bad. So I want to have a moment of reflection here for just a second. I've had this happen quite a few times, not only this week, but this month, where the moment I sell a loser, the price absolutely plummets. I'm not talking just drops, 10, 15%. I'm talking drops 30, 40% in one move, like right after I sold. So I think that's telling me I'm getting pretty close to the wire on how long I'm holding my losers. And I think that's a bad thing. And that's something I'm going to be thinking about a lot going forward is, do I need to have a hard and fast rule of a percentage, or should it be kind of playing by ear? And do I need to tighten up the reins on when I'm going to be cutting off losers? That's just something I'm thinking about. This next trade I took was my one winning trade of the day, and it was on AKAN. Really, really small winner. I think I ended up pulling about 30 cents with this. And my hope here was that this was kind of like a bull flag sort of thing. It was kind of a stretch. I would have liked to have seen 2 candles pulling back, followed by a third climbing up before getting in. That's something I've noticed is I'm having some trouble with the psychology of trying to predict and get in at the very bottom and get out at the very top, when I know the best way to be accurate long term is to jump on after it's showing that it's going to keep going. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's not what I did here. But let's go ahead and watch this. Now here it's kind of funny. I actually decided here I was going to sell off half my shares because I was a little bit concerned about the way things were looking, and I wanted to just get a smaller position size so that if it did reverse, I ended up losing a little bit less. And ultimately I decided to close out my whole position. So that recovered some of the losses I had this day so far. So that was nice, but kind of dumb. This stock this one kind of hurts. So I didn't actually end up trading this stock at all. And this is PCSA. This is a stock that was halting all day, up higher and higher and higher. It had great news, and there is some insane volume. And I'm just gonna skip ahead to each halt as it showed. So this is the first one. We can see the price is at $4.72, give or take. Let's see what happened after this. And keep in mind, I was wanting to buy this halt, but I didn't, because halts, as we know, are extremely dangerous. Even if it's going up, if it's halting like over and over and over, it wouldn't take much for it to just flip like that and go away. But yeah, here I actually tried to buy into that halt. So I just realized that it moved up to $5.90. So it's going quick, but I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead a little. Here we are at the next halt, and you can see here the price went up quite a lot, and another one quite a lot. And I'll just tell you, it didn't go up a whole lot after that, but if I had bought in at that first one, that would have been pretty nice. But I know that's a pretty dangerous way to think, so I'm gonna try and not dwell on that. But let's go ahead and look at the next trade I took, which was on IRBT. Let me also give you a bit of an update here. There has been about 5 hours of difference between when I took the last little audio recording and right now, because I was on baby duty, and then I had a bunch of other things that I had to do, and I just received the news that I have to take my dad to the airport at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So the editing will be extremely minimal here, and so will the rest of this whole video. But since basically no one's watching these, I don't really care all that much. So let's go ahead and look at this one, IRBT. And I just realized I missed an entire buy and sell, but yeah, this was going up. It was forming bull flags to a degree. You can kind of see that there, and I don't know why on earth I bought there. It was not in a pullback. That was dumb. That's about it on that one. That was just a bad decision. Shoot, I forgot to put my pajamas over the top of my microphone. That's how I keep the air when I breathe out from deafening the mic. This is an extremely unusual video, I feel like, compared to my usual content. So if anyone ends up watching this, tell me if you like the more free flow sort of deal, or if you prefer all the cuts to cut out the silence and whatnot. Anyway, eventually I did realize that this was not gonna be a winner, and I clocked out. Boom. Oh wait, boom, and now I'm out. So I am still green this week and this month, but I am disappointed. I've given back a lot of that initial $17 win that I had at the beginning of the month, or week, I mean, sorry. And it's disappointing. I am a little sad about that, but ultimately, it's not the end of the world. I'm still up, but I'm gonna be a lot more careful this week because the market is in the dumps. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.